Okay, so for me, the critical inquiry project was really interesting in that it kind of explored the student that I was examining's literacy skills in every possible angle that you could think of. There were things on the test that I gave the student that really kind of surprised me that I had never thought of before, but it kind of serves as a reminder that we've come really far and that there's a lot of building blocks that you need in your foundation to be successful in literacy. And it doesn't stop there, it keeps going. And I saw that through every grade that we examined. Um, every child is different, but the test still managed to find the exact pinpoint of where they were and how far they needed to go. Whenever I first sat down with my student to give them this assessment, I could tell that they were disinterested and that they had more important things that they could be doing. But I could tell that there was a genuine love of reading there. Um, and it seemed to be a common thing that I found with a lot of the other students that we looked at. It's they do enjoy reading, but they really like to read things that they chose themselves. And what seemed to be really crucial in developing that continual interest in literacy is allowing the student to pick the material themselves. If you are giving the student a choice, they seem immediately more interested in something that otherwise might be a total drag. So it seems that individuality plays a major part in just the desire to read. My student is an athlete, and so she really enjoyed stories that pertain to her interests, which I saw several other places and several other students. And it's something that you can incorporate into the classroom in a lot of ways. Just because it's a different genre, doesn't mean that you can't have that in a history classroom or an English classroom. You can find a way to incorporate it for your students' benefit. Again, I think that the test developed my understanding of literacy in that it's a continual lesson. It's not something that stops in elementary school or middle school. It's something that you keep learning, and it's a skill that you constantly need to be working on and improving. Otherwise, you can grow stagnant. And it's a skill that, if you keep sharp, can really benefit you intellectually. It can benefit you throughout your educational career. If you know how to read, you know how to form ideas in your head, you know how to connect those ideas, you learn how to memorize and create ideas of your own. Literacy is the most important skill that a student can ever have, and if that skill is deficient, they suffer immensely. So, literacy should not be taken for granted and should be integrated into every content area. Um, with the test, I think that data-driven instruction was kind of introduced to me for the first time. I had never really thought of putting my students into some sort of numerical order. Um, but really, when you have the data, you see the areas that you need to improve, you see the areas that are already strong, and you figure out a way to balance it out, if not improve every area in some way. And through data, you can really not so much group your students as much as individualize them further by seeing their individual strengths and weaknesses and, incorporating them into your lessons. If you can cater to a student specifically, that child will benefit greatly because, if you model a lesson around a student's needs and cater to those needs, you're not pushing them out of their comfort zone. They're in an area where they feel all right, but you can still challenge them an adequate amount. And by realizing what you can do with each student, you kind of realize what you can do with the class as a whole. If anything, I feel like this class has reminded me to make time for reading and to incorporate it wherever possible, because it is possible in every content area. Whenever I came into the class, I thought, okay, how are math majors going to utilize this? How are science majors going to utilize this? And in reality, you can, because words, language is everywhere. You just have to remember.
Is that a wrap?
Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah!
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know. Good night.